Hey, Richard here. I want to share with you in this video exactly what I would do if I needed to make $10,000 a month from scratch, starting from complete zero all over again. If you're completely new here, my name is Richard. I have created a business, it's crazy to say, that has done well north of $17 million in sales now, 2 businesses to be specific. And I've done this before the age of 25. And I sit here today really because I know what it's like to be a complete beginner, and I know what it's like to be struggling or just getting started with your business. I've been in all of the stages. You can go on my YouTube videos. I'll link my very first YouTube video of when I was a broke college student at UCLA. Now, I have my notes in my office literally right behind me. So let's go ahead and jump in my office. I got my notes I'll share with you on the screen. Let's go. I'm literally going to be going off of this Google Doc you can see as I'm sharing my screen here. And I just want to share with you this exact notes. And by the way, stay to the end of the video. I'll share with you how I can actually send these notes directly to you. That way you can just pay attention. So pull up a sheet of paper, take some notes, and I'll also send this to you at the end of this video when you stay to the end. All right. Now, by the way, I hate doing this. Just to share with you, I actually have built a successful business between my 2 companies that I run now, 2 online education companies. Yesterday, we did over $38,000 in sales. My first year out of college, I just did these filters here. That was the year of 2020. I graduated December 2019 from UCLA. I did over $500,000 in sales. And by the way, if I just go all time, that's been on Stripe, just under $17 million in sales. If you factor in all the payment processors, PayPal, wire transfers, it's well north of 17 million. I want to bring it to ground level, step 1, because the first year that I graduated from university was a dead broke student in 2020, with the pandemic literally just blowing up in our faces, everyone getting locked in at home. I made over $500,000 in sales, selling one $500 course. A 21-year-old college student, no experience, just graduated, no certifications, no license. You compare him to some kind of all the other high performance productivity gurus like a Tony Robbins, Brendon Burchard, like any of those famous gurus that you see. Dude, I was a nobody and no following. I had 2,000 followers on Instagram. They were just the people in high school and college that followed me and I followed back. And how did that guy make $500,000 in sales? I'll tell you how. Because I decided to sell my knowledge. The little knowledge that I did have, I decided to sell that as an online education product. Now, I'm going to break down a couple different pieces for you here, because I know for some of you, you're like, that's awesome. For other of you, you might be thinking, well, I have nothing to sell. I'm a complete beginner. Richard, I'm in college. I'm a 9-to-5er. I'm a stay-at-home parent. I don't have any skills to sell. Well, I'll challenge you on that, but I'm also going to give you, when you stay to the end of this video, another pathway that you could go that will help you kickstart and get to $6,000 to $7,000 a month so that you can be on your path to getting to starting an education business if you want, right? But I share this because this online education business model, which made $500,000 for me, had so many advantages. Because number one, rather than selling a physical product like this water bottle right here, or this table or computer or this microphone, an online education product doesn't have any delivery fees, right? There's no shipping, there's no cost of goods sold, there's no physical product. I don't have to pay a shipping company, there's no shipping fees, right? The customer gets a product instantly because it's delivered digitally, right? It could be a video course, it could be a PDF, it could be a Google document. It's just like watching a YouTube video. And so the profit margin on this product is pretty much 100%. If you charge $100 for a course, there's no product cost. The second reason is, for me, after I was able to sell this online education product, because the income changed my life completely, I was able to change my environment. I moved out of my mom's house. I was able to move out of the 1-bedroom apartment sharing with 4 dudes. I was able to buy my dream car. Like, all these things I was able to do was because of the high profit margins of online education business. Now, if you're thinking, well, Richard, I don't know what kind of online education product I could sell. And also a massive thing a lot of people think is, well, Richard, I can't teach someone how to make money, because they'll follow the big guys like Andrew Tate or someone like Iman Gadzhi or Luke Bumar, like big influencers that you might see now, and they all typically sell something around make money online, right? And even for myself, I have online education companies that help businesses improve their income, or individuals become salespeople, right? Increase their income. But you got to remember, I sold a course not on how to make money. I sold a course on teaching people how to wake up earlier, how to have better morning routines, how to be able to have a better diet, have a better sleep schedule. That's nothing to do with making money online. And really just to hit this home, I'll give you just fast fire a couple different examples of people that I know that I have helped. I've personally mentored who have built businesses that have done at least $1 million a year. Okay, so Lucas Hansen, if you look him up on YouTube, Spook Loop, he was one of my clients, my first clients, literally my first 30 clients. He has done over $187,000 a month selling a $500 course, which later he bumped to $1,500 program. So it got even more expensive. It started as a $500 course on how to play a video game called Rocket League better. I have a client that does about $100,000 a month teaching other people how to trade sports cards. I have another person that teaches people how to flip shoes. I myself, and I've mentored probably well north of a dozen people, like over 12 people on building companies that teach people productivity. I have one instructor, a golf coach, not a professional, never played pro. He got to high school, I believe, high school golf. So he played decently well, but wasn't amazing, never went pro. And he does about $40,000, $50,000 a month, literally selling a coaching program on how to play golf better. Think about that. It's insane, right? And so that honestly, like I share all those examples with you to really pass upon you. You don't need to be some crazy expert or be thinking, oh, I have to be able to only teach people how to make money online. Well, I don't know Amazon. I don't know dropshipping. I don't know trading. So I can't teach it to other people. I started just teaching how to wake up earlier. And chances are you have some kind of knowledge inside of you that does qualify you to teach other people, even if you're not an expert, right? Now, I know the biggest question that you're now thinking is, but Richard, what if I don't have something to sell, right? First off, for most people, they do actually have something to sell, right? One of my friends, Trey, always tells me, I'll borrow this from him, everyone has a course inside of them. Right. And the reality is, if you really look at all the things that you've done within your life, you look at the life experiences that you had, the school or the education career that you had, or the work experience that you've had, or maybe a particular passion. Like I know someone who makes money literally teaching people how to juggle. Juggling. Think about that. Oh, this is a good one. I have a client who does over $10,000 a month teaching people how to play chess better. You know the chess, the board game? Yeah, chess. 10K a month selling a course on chess coaching. Number one, chances are if you're telling yourself right now, but I just don't have a course, so I'm not qualified. No one ever trusts me. No one would think I'm an expert. Trust me, I went through all of those doubts as a 20-year-old considering selling online education. If you continue to believe, Richard, you don't get it, man, I literally have zero skills. Dude, I'm a loser. Like I don't have any skills. I don't have anything. I know that sounds mean. I'm not trying to be mean, but if that's actually you, don't worry, because then you would fall under the category of me being a loser, of where I was in 2019, 1 year before I made the $500,000. Which is, even though I knew, okay, I could probably teach on productivity because like my roommates in college and my classmates constantly give me compliments of like, Richard, you're really productive, man. Like you do a really good job at like waking up on time. Like you inspire me, right? Like I never charge, but like my friends would tell me that because I was just kind of like that one productive guy. Even though I had the skill set, I still had so many limiting beliefs. So what I did, and little did I know that this would actually one day turn into a full new industry, and I would even start a business teaching other people this. But I got a job working for someone else who sold courses because I thought to myself, I don't have the confidence to be able to build my own company and sell knowledge. So you know what? Let me just work for someone who is selling knowledge, and let me work kind of like as an intern in college, right? I worked for a company or specifically for a person, Vince, who was running an online personal training company. It was an online coaching business. It was a $10,000 coaching program that taught personal trainers how to turn their personal training career and how to start an online fitness training business. It's a really cool business. But I work for him not because I want to be a personal trainer or start a fitness coaching company. I work for him because I knew that he had a successful online education business, and I wanted to gain skills and learn while adding value to his business. What I learned there completely changed my life. And this is what really goes into step one, which is really the overarching theme is starting an online education business. But the step one, if you're truly a complete beginner, was I worked for him as an online appointment setter. And this is the job that I literally had my first 90 days that I worked for my mentor, my boss, Vince. He said, Richard, here's my IG. So log into my Instagram. You're going to message on my behalf, my followers. So I'm not talking about me. I'm talking the voice of Vince. And Richard, you're going to go ahead and book sales calls so that my sales team, which is just a sales guy taking phone calls, can talk to people and sell our products. Your only job is going to be to message the followers, book calls. And so I did this part-time for him because I was still in university at the time. But pretty much all I did was I sent messages inside of his Instagram account talking to his followers, and I would message these guys and I would book these calls. I would literally send a Calendly link, right? They would book a call, and then the person would actually take the phone call with Vince, because Vince was actually the salesperson. It was a small company. I was doing about $1 million a year. So Vince was still dedicated, it was like the CEO was a salesperson, the owner was a salesperson. And every time he sold someone, I got paid a commission, right? Because I booked the call for him, right? I got paid, it was a 4 or 5% commission. I remember he sold a $10,000 package and I made 4% on that. I made $400. And I literally sat there thinking, I was in my college dorm room, right? I was in college, I was 20 years old, and I was like, dude, I just made $400 by sending messages following a script. And I booked a call. That's all I did. It maybe took 20, 30 minutes back and forth sending messages to his follower. And now I'm oversimplifying. Obviously, there's like some sales language. I had to copy and paste. I had to use a script that my mentor built for me. There was some salesmanship in there. But that messaging of 20, 30 minutes of work made me $400. My buddies who were working part-time jobs at the restaurant, like I had a friend who was working at In-N-Out, a fast food restaurant. I had another friend who was working at the gym, just working hourly at the front desk at the gym. Dude, they're making $12 an hour minimum wage. They got to work a whole week. 20 hours, 25 hours, and they'll make $400. I literally sat here typing messages on my phone for another company, not even my social media. I didn't show my face, and I made $400. It was such a mind-blowing experience. And basically, working as a setter for that company, I did 4K, 5K, 6K in my first 3 months, and I realized, like, dude, this is awesome. Because here I am learning how to do sales. I'm learning the fundamentals, because in the future, down the line, at this point, I still didn't believe I had what it took to start my own online education business. This was about a year before I started selling my productivity course. But I knew, I'm learning basic skill sets that will set me up for so much success a couple months or a year down the line in the future when I start my own business. And then I got so good at doing the setting, I actually started hiring virtual assistants. Like I went on Upwork.com, I went on onlinejobs.ph, like these websites where you can hire people from countries like Philippines, India, where they're willing to work for $3, $4 an hour. And I started hiring these virtual assistants and putting them inside the DMs, and I would just kind of coach them. And they started producing better than I could, because I was only able to work 3 or 4 hours a day. And these people were literally working 8 hours a day, and I could pay them really affordable salaries, like $600 a month, $700 a month. And it was still life-changing money for them. And I made the difference. And I still was like, oh my gosh. And I call that now scripting, right? Because you're doing scripting for you're setting up a team that follows your scripts. And that's like what scripting is, right? And so that's what I do if you're a true beginner. Like step one, if you aren't willing to sell an online education product, that's totally fine. I started there as well, and there's no shame in that, right? And even for me, like I see myself as a pretty self-confident guy. I went to a good university. And even myself, like I didn't have the confidence. So there's no shame in that. But that doesn't mean you can't get into the industry. Just because you can't have your own business, why can't you join forces and partner up with someone that is? And that's why I have the whole mentorship. I literally have an online school that trains people on how to become setters, for the licensed certified setters that can then go and find good jobs at companies and make good money just sending messages and scripts, right? But that's the first step, right? Now, the second thing that I did brings me to step 2. And step 2 is after I got good at sending messages, I realized what's the next skill set that you need to learn if you want to be able to sell an online education product? Well, the most successful companies out there that sell online education products typically sell high ticket, which means they sell a product over the phone. And generally, it's a price point of the product has to be $4,000, $5,000 or more. I would say minimum $3,000. If you sell $3,000 or above, that's considered high ticket, right? Like a more expensive program. But you can't sell that just in the DMs. You typically can't sell that just by, dropping a link for someone to buy. You actually have to sell that over the phone because it's expensive enough price point, right? And for me, I knew, okay, well, it is the next natural progression because I learned how to send messages. I want to learn how to sell for the phone. So I told my boss, Vince, because he was still taking phone calls, like, hey, Vince, why don't I take that off your plate? And why don't I learn how to sell? And that will protect your time. You get your time back. And rather than paying me 4% commission, pay me a little bit more because it's a more valuable skill. Pay me 10% commission, right? Which is 2.5 times more. He said, yeah, sure, do it. And I did it. I worked with him. Vince helped me build out a sales script that I started using. I tinkled around with it. I played around with it, but pretty much it was a Google Doc. It was about 3 pages long. I followed like specific questions that I followed. So I wasn't salesy. I wasn't high pressure. It was just a casual, very detailed script on how to actually sell, which by the way, if you want that script, just stay to the end of the video. I'll be more than happy to send it to you. I'll tell you how I can get that to you. And I followed the script that my mentor and I both built out together. And my best month, it was, I think, month 3 in for me closing for him, it's called closing, which is you taking phone calls for a business owner. I ended up doing $190,000 in sales for the company, which is insane because he himself was only able to do like $100,000 a month in sales because he could only do part-time, but I was full-time, like taking 6, 7, 8 calls a day. And I made 10% commission. And because I was 21, that was when I had already graduated college, but 10% commission of 190 grand, you do the math. That's 19K. I made $19,000 in 1 month just by taking phone calls and knowing how to close them and sell them. And that was the second, like, just mind-blowing opportunity, right? And I did that, and basically I helped also replace myself. I hired another closer, I trained up that closer, I hired another one, and basically the closers, I became then, and I'll tell you in the next step, but I became almost like a COO, like a chief of operations for the company, by removing myself from the process. But really cool, because you can see here, you're learning what I call high income skills, right? HIS, high income skills, which are skills that on their own, if you just wanted to create a career, you didn't even want to build a business, these things themselves could get you pretty dang close to $10,000 a month. Closing can get you way more than $10,000 a month, like I did. I did $90,000 a month, right? And that's the first 2 steps. Step 1 being a setter, step 2 being a closer. And step 3 is what I call being an operator. And being an operator means if you get really good within a company that you're working for and you're making them sales and you're doing really well, then you can actually grow to a position where you kind of become the second in command, the right-hand person for that company. And that's exactly what I did. I told Vince after working as a closer for a couple months and making a lot of money, I said, hey, Vince, I think I can add even more value to the company by kind of being your chief of staff, your second in command, your COO per se, like a quote unquote, without the title. And I'll help you run the day-to-day operations. I'll help you lead all the setters in your Instagram account. I'll help you lead the closers that are running your team. I'll pretty much kind of just run the daily operations of the company so you can kind of just focus on high level. Or if you want to take a vacation or just like take time off, you can. The only thing the owner really needs to do is be the face, right? Like maybe if the company has advertisements or post content on YouTube or Instagram, the owner typically is the face of the company. So Vince, you just got to make content and be the face, but I'll run the company for you. Well, and that takes out the majority of the work, right? And so that's basically what I did. And I negotiated for a percentage of the company. It was a profit share model. And so at this point, I truly felt like, man, like I was a business partner. And pretty much I was making around the 6-figure, maybe a little bit more than 100K a year. And, you know, for a lot of people, that's life-changing money. That's life-changing money. In my company right now, I own 2 online consulting education companies, and in both of them, I have executives that run the ship for me. Right? They run the sales team, they run the fulfillment team, the customer service. For these YouTube videos, for the content, they have teams they work with managing the editors and whatnot. Those are the quote-unquote operators that I pay 6-figure salaries and some significantly more than 6 figures to run it. And it's a great win-win because your team members are happy, they're making great money, they're gaining experience. And honestly, for a lot of people here at step 3, if you grow to become an operator, you don't even need to start a company. Like for me, for a lot of my team members, they're like, dude, I don't want to have all the pressure of being a business owner. I don't want to have employees. I don't want to have the stress of having to pay taxes and file and the complicated stuff. And that's also 100% fine. At this point, if you're an operator, you're for sure making at least $10,000 a month. But if you have more ambition, or if one day you just aspire, I want to have my own business out there, which is what I wanted, that's when you can move into step 4. Which brings me back full circle to what I was talking about initially, because step 4 is where you can either become a partner or an entrepreneur, which is what I like to call an entrepreneur that works within the company, where, like I said, you can negotiate for a percentage of the company, you can work and launch a new business with the owner that you initially started with, or you can become an entrepreneur, right? Which means you now work for yourself. And for me, what I did was 1 year after working with my mentor, it was 1 year and a half and 6 months. So 18 months after I started working with him, I launched my own info product business, which again was a $500 course where I sold to university students, teaching them how to wake up earlier, how to have better routines. It was incredibly valuable, yet it was just such a simple product. It wasn't anything complicated. And that's what made me my first $500,000 in sales and changed my life forever, right? I share all this with you really just to show you that it's possible. Okay, I know you probably still have so many questions. You're still like, you probably have some mental blocks. For most people, it's probably the mindset. They still don't think they're ready. They think, no one to buy my stuff. They're not ready to listen to me. And look, regardless of where you're at, if you want, first and foremost, this Google document, as well as any of the scripts that I mentioned, I'll drop my Instagram right here. I wish I could send it to you on YouTube, but YouTube still doesn't allow me to DM you. Just go ahead and DM me the word YouTube. Just DM me that word to my Instagram. I'll leave it right there. And also check me out on Instagram. Like I post daily stuff on there, like really motivational, valuable gems. Now, at this point, typically when people follow me and they DM me on YouTube, I get a lot of people who message me like, yo, Richard, how can I get mentored by you? Like, I resonate with you. I love your values. I want to know how I can get mentored. Now, transparently, I don't really do mentorship very often. The only reason why I do have some mentorship available is my selfish reason is I have a private equity firm where we invest into our mentees' businesses. And so I'm constantly looking for talented, hungry, ambitious people who I believe have what it takes to build successful businesses. Because when we can take, even if it's someone from ground up, like a college student or a 9-to-5er who's a complete beginner, but if I believe, my team believes that person has what it takes to succeed, we're willing to mentor that person, because 6 months or a year or 2 years down the line, that person might build a really successful business, and my private equity firm might want to inject capital into that business and maybe buy a percentage of that company for a percentage, right? Maybe 5% of the company, 10% of the company, because that then incentivizes us to help you grow the company even more, right? And obviously, if we help you expand your company, we obviously make money from that because we own a percentage of the business, right? And so because I have that private equity firm, I do open up a couple slots for mentorship. Every month we open up a couple slots. Now, the only way to get access to mentorship is I have a $37 crash course, okay? And that crash course shows you all the step-by-steps of how you can actually become a setter, a closer, eventually launch your info product, all the things I talked about in this course, but in this YouTube video, but in much more in depth. I sell that for $37. Honestly, $37 does not change my life, and I don't want your money. I don't need it. The only reason is because free information, people for some reason watch a YouTube video, they just don't take action. And when I started charging $37, people would actually start implementing, like, oh my gosh, you buy something, now you take it seriously, right? Like, how many times have your parents given you a book and then you just don't take it seriously? So it's $37 for that. And then also it's $37 because my team, I also give one-on-one free coaching calls because they buy the $37. So it covers the hourly for the coaches and our staff to be able to give one-on-one free coaching calls. And we only select people for one-on-one mentorship from those that actually enroll into the $37 program, because that tells me you're actually serious. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to send me a DM on YouTube. That's step number one. I'll send you over all the stuff here, all the notes that I talked about today. And then secondly, I'll leave a link down below to a video that you can watch. That video is where you can actually buy the $37 product. You'll get a free coaching call with it. And that's where we'll interview and see if you would be a good fit also to be mentored by me, my team on a one-on-one basis, really to help you take your business, regardless if you're beginner or advanced, to the next level. My friend, I'm so humbled and grateful you made it to the end of this video. Consider hitting subscribing, because I truly make videos like this because I'm on a mission to reforming the education system. I want to see you win. I want to see people actually learn real skills on how to make an income online, helping ordinary people make some extraordinary income online. And again, there's a link below for you to reach out if you'd like some help. And remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I'll see you soon.